5 on Your Side at 10 starts now.
A St. Louis high school football team calling unnecessary roughness on Ohio police.
Ritter players seem to be going into the stands.
Tonight, Cardinal Ritter officials and parents are demanding answers.
You don't mace children.
Chilly change. Finally, it feels more like fall here in St. Louis. We're tracking how long this cooler air hangs around and if there's any drought relief heading our way.
A real estate reality. Tonight, St. Louis realtors offering a report card on undoing discriminatory housing practices.
5 on Your Side starts now with breaking news.
Tonight, a 14-year-old robbery suspect and a victim are recovering after exchanging gunfire in downtown St. Louis. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Police were able to quickly respond because many officers were on the streets taking part in National Night Out events. The shootout happened near 9th and Lucas. That's on the west side of the convention center. 5 News Side's Robert Townsend is live at police headquarters with the latest on this.
Kelly and Mike, again, that gunfire rang out in the heart of downtown around 7 tonight, and police tell us one of the suspects, listen to this, is just 14 years old. Now, investigators say the teen and another suspect tried to rob a 45-year-old man who was outside on his break from work. Police say the suspects walked up to the man and another person and asked them for a light or a cell phone charger. Now, police say when the 14-year-old pulled out a gun, the man told him to drop his gun. Both then fired shots.
When they told them they didn't have anything, the two suspects moved around and kind of circled back again, and then asked them again, produced a firearm, and then gunfire was exchanged between the victims and the suspects, each one of them being struck.
Police say the one victim and the 14-year-old robbery suspect suffered minor injuries. Lots of officers and police captains quickly got to that scene because, again, they were already out on the streets participating in National Night Out. Of course, you know that's the annual evening of block parties aimed at strengthening community police partnerships. And at this hour, police are still looking for that second suspect who ran off. They also tell us they recovered 2 guns from that scene. We're live downtown. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on Your Side.
We have new details tonight on a shooting that left a teen dead near St. Louis University's campus. 2 people are now in custody. The shooting happened last night on Laclede Avenue near South Mandeventer. Police say it escalated from an argument about a possible drug deal and robbery. It was right next to an apartment complex where multiple students witnessed what happened.
Everyone just heard the shots and went running to hide because they didn't know what was going on.
We read about these sort of stories in the news all the time about St. Louis, but to see it sort of like actually happen really close by, just right outside the window, is something else.
Police say one of the suspects was also shot and they arrested him at the hospital. Another 18-year-old suspect turned themselves in. Charges have yet to be filed.
Turning now to the weather impact forecast, a noticeable change in the air across St. Louis tonight. It finally feels a little like fall. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here to tell us how cool it will feel when you head out the door in the morning.
Well, you know, tomorrow morning temperatures for some of us dropping back into the 40s. It's been a while for many of us since we've had such warm weather here the last few days. We are right now down to 54 degrees in Chesterfield, 57 in St. Charles. Last night at this hour, temperatures were about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than they are right now for many of us. Still in the 60s south and east of St. Louis. That cooler air was pushing in. When we talked to you last night, we said the focus for rain would be south and east of us. In the last 24 hours, 3 to 5 inches of rainfall along the Ohio River. But here at home, while it did rain around many areas of the metro this morning, briefly, it was mainly sprinkles, not measurable, just trace amounts, certainly doing nothing to ease our dry conditions. We will stay dry for several more days. Skies are clearing now and we'll be clear tomorrow, which means sunshine out the door, but it's going to be a cool start. Temperatures in the low 50s in town, outlying areas in the 40s. At least the breeze won't be all that strong tomorrow. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk about the weekend, Mike.
Tonight, the president of Cardinal Ritter College Prep is demanding answers after she says student athletes and coaches were pepper sprayed after a game over the weekend in Ohio. Our Brent Solomon sat down tonight with a parent of one of those football players. Brent?
Well, Mike, it happened Friday night, about 10 miles away from the city of Canton, Ohio. Cardinal Ritter was taking on Washington High School. After Cardinal Ritter lost, things escalated, and what happened next is raising eyebrows.
I've never seen anything like that.
Take a look as police in Massillon, Ohio pepper spray football players from Cardinal Ritter College Prep. Parent Ashley Ashburn remembers getting the phone call.
Just yelling in the phone like, "Mom, I just got maced." And I'm like, what?
Her 16-year-old son was playing with his teammates. During the handshake line right after the game is when it all went down.
He was like, "We just got maced by the police." I'm like, what happened?
That's what I wanted to know. So I contacted the police chief of the Massillon Police Department. He shared with me this video showing another angle. The chief says after multiple fights, pushing and shoving between both teams, officers were forced to intervene. He says one of the home team's players' face mask was grabbed, and he was then surrounded and chased by Cardinal Ritter players. After giving multiple orders for Cardinal Ritter to leave the field, he says 2 officers deployed pepper spray.
Even if it was a fight, you don't mace children.
Cardinal Ritter's president called it unacceptable. Neither the school where the game took place nor the school district have shown any interest in supporting an official investigation. We are working to file official complaints with the local police department, she said.
Tell the kids to move, like get off the field. It's time to get off the field. You could even have an announcer announce something over the intercom or anything like that, or, help the coaches get the kids off the field, but not to pull out mace and mace them. No, absolutely not.
The Ohio chief says his officers' actions follow department policy and procedure. Cardinal Ritter says it is offering counseling services to students who were involved and will support families through this.
Tonight, we're learning more about the wrong-way driver who caused a deadly crash on Interstate 170. Police say an 88-year-old man was going south in the northbound lanes near the I-70 interchange yesterday afternoon. He hit a Jeep head-on, killing all 3 people in the car. The driver later died at the hospital. Troopers say they don't believe he was impaired.
And more often than not, a lot of these incidents are from elderly individuals who get on the ramps or on the overpasses and make the wrong turn because they're confused.
The 3 victims in the Jeep have not been identified. Troopers say the best way to avoid wrong-way drivers is to stay in the right lane where they are less likely to hit you head-on.
Tonight, Missouri's new Attorney General is picking up where her predecessor left off, attempting to oust St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway asked a judge for a summary judgment, a move that would fire the sheriff on the spot with no trial. Montgomery is accused of breaking state law when he handcuffed a city justice center official. He's also accused of having deputies drive his kids around in department cars. A court hearing is scheduled 3 weeks from tomorrow.
Tonight, a report card is out on racial barriers in the local housing market.
5 on your side's Laura Barczewski got an exclusive early look at the St. Louis Realtors Association report before it was released today. Laura?
Mike and Kelly, some people may not remember this, but back in September of 2022, the St. Louis Realtors Association made an apology for their part in housing discriminatory practices. Now they're hoping this report can help them take action.
The St. Louis region has a tough home buying history. Redlining was the letter of the law starting in the 1930s, and you can literally see the red line of what were considered, quote, hazardous neighborhoods on this map from 1937.
They couldn't go to live in this various area because they wanted to keep it a certain containment of cultures.
The Fair Housing Act of 1968 outlawed discriminatory practices, but the Reimagining St. Louis report from St. Louis Realtors showed it had lasting impacts. St. Louis Realtors Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Amanda Clare, says barriers to homeownership for African Americans still persist.
So there have been barriers as far as credit, looking at the amount of debt that African American family has, having access to the literature that is needed for financial literacy. And so with those lots of barriers building up over time, it makes that gap wider.
Let's dig into the data. The report looked at 75,000 home purchases in St. Louis City and County. It showed Black homebuyers face higher mortgage denial rates across all neighborhood types, and that can happen for a variety of reasons. Black couples earn an average household income of $80,888 compared to $152,424 for non-black couples. And the median credit score for black buyers is 718 compared to 776 for non-black buyers. When Caleb Bobo was buying his first home, he saved for 3 years and focused on his credit score, but he knew it was still going to be a challenge, putting in nearly a dozen offers just to get denied.
I'm a single guy at the time trying to afford a house and compete with borrowers who may have 2 incomes, so it just really took a lot of patience.
But Caleb says he was lucky because at an early age, his parents introduced him to banking and the financial sector, and he later turned that into a career.
I felt a little bit more comfortable navigating it, but I have so many family members, so many friends who don't have that same level of comfort, and I think that's a real reality that a lot of black borrowers have.
Some of the recommendations from the report include expanding access to affordable mortgage credit, more financial literacy programs, addressing student loan debt, and changing credit score models to reflect rent and utility payments. St. Louis Realtors also has a big expo coming up on October 18th where they're going to have a lot of resources for anybody interested in buying a home. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
The city of Ferguson celebrated National Night Out in a big way tonight. The police department doubled its neighborhood events this year to build relationships with neighbors.
We had a huge turnout, and this is, like I said, this is the first time neighbors meeting neighbors. We have neighbors on streets who have been living like 40 years. They had never met each other on the same block.
By the number of people that are showing up at these events, it's just validation to me that the community is starting to trust us a lot more and supporting us.
Neighbors say they hope to see a similar turnout in the future.
The shutdown showdown in Washington causing turbulence at airports nationwide.
Everything in the tower is closed. You have to call the 800 line.
The impacts tonight of an air traffic controller shortage at Lambert. A lack of rain leading to a letdown for local leaf peepers.
So we're seeing a lot of premature leaf drop.
The steps you can take now to ensure vibrant colors in your backyard.
The upcoming cool nights may help push the color change along, but the drought will get worse before it gets better in our area. We're tracking a weekend warm-up in 6 minutes.
Tonight, the southern Missouri town of Sikeston is mourning a police officer killed in the line of duty. Officer Henry Franklin was shot and killed yesterday while responding to a standoff. He was serving a warrant when a person barricaded inside a home opened fire. The suspect and another person in the home also died. Franklin was the K-9 handler of the department. The Army veteran served 2 tours in Iraq. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children. Here's a live look at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, where the government shutdown is causing some minor delays.
Tonight, we're seeing the most impact for flights to Chicago or Nashville as they deal with air traffic controllers not coming into work. And of course, they're calling out sick because they have to work without pay while the government is shut down. Right now, an air traffic control facility in Nashville is closed until 11 because of a staffing shortage. The FAA briefly issued a ground stop for flights headed to Nashville. A St. Louis flight was delayed for over 2 hours. This is happening all across the country as more controllers call out during the continuing shutdown.
They're not just now thinking about the airspace and the jobs they have to do in these towers or TRACONs or centers across the country. They're thinking about, am I going to get a paycheck?
So far, controllers have not missed a paycheck, but that will soon change as the shutdown lingers.
Tonight, the sister of Dolly Parton is asking for your prayers for the country music legend. The 79-year-old singer has recently been battling health issues, which forced her to postpone her Las Vegas residency last month. Frida Parton posted on Facebook today, quote, "She's strong, she's loved, and with all the prayers being lifted for her, I know in my heart she's going to be just fine. Godspeed, my sissy Dolly. We all love you." Details of the health challenges she's facing were not shared. Parton's husband of nearly 60 years, Carl Dean, passed away in March. Instead of looking up this year, leaf peepers or fall color admirers will have to look down at whatever is left.
Yeah, dry conditions have stressed out trees. Weather impact meteorologist Tracy Hinson went to the experts to find out how you can still get a little fall color around your home.
If you go out looking for fall color this year, you're probably going to come across a lot of crunchy leaves
and bare trees.
The outlook is a little shaky for this year.
Nearly every year for the past 6 years, I've met up with Darian McKelvey, supervisor for the Missouri Botanical Garden Center for Home Gardening.
Look at that one. This is the more common one.
When it comes to tree questions, she is the one to ask.
Peak for fall around here occurs usually, we say, the last week of October, first week of November.
A beloved time of year for Midwesterners, but McKelvey isn't hopeful this year.
A lot of the trees are drought stressed.
A few days of minimal rain in September, not making a dent.
We're still in a moderate drought, and so we're seeing a lot of premature leaf drop.
Thinning canopies, brown crunchy leaves gathering around trunks.
The trees are reacting to the fact that there's not enough moisture in the ground.
With that in mind, here's McKelvey's expert prediction for Fall Colors 2026.
I don't think we'll have no leaves on the trees. There will be a lot likely still by the end of the month. It's just that maybe fall color may not be as vibrant and as widespread as we have seen in the past.
There's no way to save fall colors in the forest, but there is in your yard.
Even if your tree is thinning, I would still put water on it, because the more moist the soil is, not overly wet, but moist, that still will help the tree, especially within the next month or so, especially looking at the forecast. We're not going to get as much. It'll just help it in the long run.
So get those garden hoses out and hope for the best. On the bright side, our prairie plants are much hardier and always put on a show. Tracy Henson, 5 on your side.
And if you have more questions about fall foliage around your house, the Missouri Botanical Garden runs a horticulture answer service. You can email or call. It's staffed Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon.
And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the weather impact forecast. It's going to be a cool night.
And that's one of the things we haven't had an enormous amount of, has been cool weather this fall. And of course, the leaves do better when it's cooler. We've had the dry conditions and unusually warm conditions. Now, one place you'll get some color. Look at the kind of spooky, scary, haunted house kind of looking jack-o'-lantern there. This is over at the Kirkwood Farmers Market, filled with kids having fun most days, and this weekend certainly is going to be that kind of time as the pleasant weather for being outside will continue. Now, yes, we've cooled off. The front came through last night, gave us a little spritz in St. Louis. That was about it. Dropped our temperatures back into the 60s, and now we are down to 60 in St. Louis. That is our new low temperature for the day. We are now 14 degrees cooler than we were this time yesterday, but Springfield, Illinois is 21 degrees lower than yesterday. So we had that big surge of cool air come in this mainly during the morning and early afternoon hours for the metro area. Just a trace of rain. We're about a ½ inch below average for the year now, and we're about 4 to 5 inches below average over the last couple of months. So as you're looking at temperatures by tomorrow morning, out the door, we're talking 40s in many of the outlying areas, right around 50 in St. Louis. Now, we are clearing. South and southeast of St. Louis, skies are mostly clear, which means plenty of sunshine for us tomorrow. And it also means temperatures will stay in the lower 70s. So the cooler air taking hold right now. It is mainly dry into next week. There's cool mornings into Friday. Really, the coolest mornings will be Thursday and Friday morning. We're talking Thursday morning. Those low temperatures in some spots, maybe flirting with the upper 30s, around 40 degrees. In town, we're in the mid to upper 40s. And then over the weekend, we start a bit of a warming trend. So we are not going to see this coolish pattern, which is really just average for this time of year, last for very long before the warmth comes back. We're close to 80 on Saturday. We will have a few clouds. If you're heading to Columbia for the big football game at Mizzou, or up to Champaign for their big game, the Illini and Ohio State, the weather is just spectacular this weekend from a recreational standpoint. A little bit warmer on Sunday with a decent amount of sunshine once again. It'd be nice if we could get some rain chances in here to do something about the drought, but that doesn't look like an option. Instead, we're not looking at our first frost anytime soon as this warmer weather continues. Average first frost for many of our outlying areas is actually around this week. So we're running a little bit behind on that because of the above average temperatures, and that trend returns this weekend.
This weekend, all right. Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, I love this blues line that Coach Monty has constructed. You won't believe the find that the Arizona head coach was hit with today. And Coach Drink simply says, we'll see this weekend what we got.
A new episode of Outside the Forecast has dropped on our 5+ streaming app. This week, meteorologist Lance Blocker takes a look at Celestial, the celestial show that's taking place right now. You can watch for free on your Roku, Apple, Fire, Samsung, or LG TV.
So we need hockey. We need winning hockey. And let's face it, that's what the Blues have done quite well in their existence. It's year 58, and only 11 times have they missed the playoffs. I'm betting they won't get to 12 this spring. The season opener is 45 hours away. Oscar Sundqvist won't be playing. He's week to week with a lower body injury. The Blues went through a fast-paced 45-minute practice today at Centene. Monty says the trio of Dylan Holloway, Braden Shen, and Jordan Kyrou were the best group. That's one reason why they will be playing together again on Thursday night. They were a productive group when they played together last season, led by the gritty captain Shen.
It's just these little things, part of the game that, maybe not a lot of people pick up on it, but it's just, important. It opens stuff up, for me and Holly on the outside, and, gives us a lot of room to create plays. And obviously, he's a pretty big hitter too. I mean, he can crush guys, so that also opens up the ice.
Now it's on us to, have good communication here early. Probably watched some video of last year, what made us successful, and mentally, dial it in, and communication's huge. We have to get, last year's not this year, and we have to find ways to be better.
Mizzou will have to do the same on Saturday against Alabama. Consider this. The Crimson Tide has played the toughest schedule in America. Mizzou has played the 52nd toughest schedule in America. So this is the game where we get clarity about the squad. Remember, just 12 months ago, Alabama annihilated the Tigers 34-0. But keep in mind, Mizzou didn't have Ahmad Hardy, the nation's leading rusher. Coach Drink, talk to us.
Yeah, honestly, we'll find out this week. He's done it his whole career, but the challenges continue to grow this week. He's really good at keeping his lower body churning. He doesn't have a very big strike zone, but we'll find out this week.
Illinois' task could be more difficult at the same time on Saturday. They host #1 ranked Ohio State. Illinois, over the last years, had some majestic moments like this win against Michigan in December. Coach Bielema, about those moments?
Well, if you come to college football, these moments really don't happen all that often. I've been head coach 17 years, and the amount of times where I get this moment have been very few. So to realize the moment you're in and take advantage of it, like I've said, I told it to our players yesterday, a special memory is created from moments, right? And what you do with that moment makes that memory.
The Arizona Cardinals have fined their head coach, Jonathan Gannon, $100,000, and it all stems from his reaction to this moment. Imari DiMercato dropped the football right before crossing the goal line. Gannon got animated, which you will see, and later apologized.
I just told him I kind of let the moment of what happened get the better of me there. Obviously, I try to be emotionally stable and calm because my job is to solve problems when during a game. And kind of lead the charge on that. So it's not really who I am, who I want to be.
Yankees, Blue Jays, Game 3. The Yankees were down 6-3 when Aaron Judge hit a 3-run bomb. That gave them life. They lead it 9-6 in the 8th inning. Toronto leads the series 2-0. Former Cardinals all over the place in Detroit. Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Tigers, facing Randy Arozarena, and Randy delivers again. The Mariners win 8-4. They lead the series 2-1. The Stanley Cup was out in Florida as the Panthers opened the NHL season by hosting the Blackhawks. Matthew Tkachuk is injured, did not play. 2-2 game in the third. Jesper Hufvist will hit the puck out of midair. Panthers win the first game of the NHL season 3-2. And that'll do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Countdown to face-off. The new additions at Enterprise Center satisfying the senses of Blues fans this season. In less than 48 hours, the Blues will drop the puck on a new season at Enterprise Center.
So they're going to open the season at home against the Minnesota Wild on Thursday night. The note is promising an electric opening pregame show featuring a cover of Black Sabbath's War Pigs. That's in honor of the late Ozzy Osbourne and his iconic mugshot wearing a Blues jersey. New food offerings at Enterprise include crumble cookies and STL Kitchen's gastropub. You don't need a ticket to enjoy the fun on opening night. The Blues are hosting a free pregame rally Thursday at Union Station. It runs from 3 until 5:30.
Strike up the band. The Marching Illini is headed to the Big Apple next month to perform in the 100th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Director Barry Hauser surprised members with the news this morning, and you can watch the parade Thanksgiving morning right here on 5 on your side.
All right, let's talk about the morning. People are going to wake up to temperatures we haven't seen in a while.
You're going to walk out the door and be invigorated tomorrow
Right.
morning. You know,
Jackets?
temperatures in the 40s and 50s, not for teenagers. They don't do jackets.
Oh,
Only you, Kelly.
sorry.
But here, look, by the time we get to Friday, that's our last really cool morning because we start a warming trend going into the weekend. Temperatures are going to jump back to around 80 on Saturday and into the lower 80s on Sunday. Bottom line is it's a really nice looking weekend forecast recreationally. Leaves, there's some color out there, even though it's not going to be the best fall foliage.
I'm going to break out the members only jacket.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Have a great tomorrow.